I want to start with Leftist Mafia video on the topic, and let's start here and listen to Ole kind of start. Ole's the one who speaks first, and it starts right into it. So I want to make sure everybody's listening. I'm going to start it. Here is the Leftist Mafia on the same topic, and the title of their video. I guess I got to put this link up too. Anna Kasparian clashes with trans community over inclusive language. Let's listen.
So yes, I acknowledge all the work she's done, but this is, and that's why this is some knowing bull. And I don't like the way she's sidestepping it. And second of all, I want to say this. This is the way that, and I want to call this on what it is, on the white womanness of all of this, because this is the way that white women act that makes people feel like you're not real allies. And very much so, I want to speak to the Bill Burr joke of being in on the heist and not liking your cut, because this is the top most privileged ever. Do you know how many words, how many ways of classification exist in this society that I don't like as a black woman that you live with? Think of like every time urban to me and black people, urban all the damn time. I hate criminal justice system. I hate law and
Sorry. How about minorities? That shit makes my skin crawl when people use that term.
order. I hate 90% of the shit we say and things that are a part of our fucking lexicon, but I don't get to make this level of declaration like, oh, it's so bothers. You can want to be called by whatever you want to call in your life. No one is stopping you from calling you a woman. People refer to you as a woman. You are a woman. Nothing is infringing upon you. But the fact that you unprovoked were so bothered by the idea of other people using this inclusive language.
And that's the point that I think everybody's kind of alluded. It's like, what precipitated this is the point. Is what precipitated you having to make this declaration. It's just weird. It's just weird. And it almost makes me feel like there's no way she could not have known that. It almost makes me feel like Anna, because it's not just this topic. It's police funding. I'm sorry, it's the police state. It's the military. It's the homeless. It's the unhoused and homeless situation. What's happening with Anna and TYT? Like, are we just progressing left and they're just staying in the same place? Or are they regressing to you? Seems like a regression to me. Because when Roman and I was having a conversation similar to this, and he was like, no. It's like we just kept moving left, is what he was saying. Like, we kept moving and they stayed in place. But this feels like a regression, and Anna must know the type of reaction she was going to get. So it makes me feel like the culture warrior that she is, just trying to drop something out there to content fill, to stir up shit, to stir up. Oh, you guys are the Trump people, and y'all are being too nice with each other. Let me stir some shit up. That's what it feels like to me. Let's listen to some more.
That you even feel like you could make some PSA as though like people should not be using this because you don't like it, because it's not your preferred measure, is a level of privilege that is not being called out in this conversation. That's some real white woman, and I like Anna, but that is what that is. Like up yours.
Will. That is some white woman shit, and you don't have to be a white woman per se to be doing that. It's more of an expression to me.
See who cancels who.
People want to talk about Anna Kasparian, or I don't know how to say her name. This Terfs
There's
thing.
another one.
David.
Yeah.
They don't really.
All right, we're gonna have a little bit of debate on this one.
Dave, take it away.
Before we debate, who is that?
Well, let's
please fill Kenny in.
So let's start with the tweet, which I think we can all agree
is the first tell Kenny who Anna Kasparian is and what the Young Turks is.
Young Turks. Is that like
so they're like the longest running progressive news show on YouTube. Right. They have like 5 million subs, I think, on YouTube, but across like Facebook, I don't know. They have a lot of followers, a lot of viewers, a lot of influence, generally, at least historically, on the left. And to be fair, have sort of been trailblazers in the sense that they have, allowed other people to sort of come up in that space. But apart from all that, so this tweet, which I'm not going to defend the tweet. I don't agree with it. I think the tweet's wrong. I think it's misguided. Let me bring it up here.
It's pretty bad. It's deplorable, as they would say.
So, all right, I'll intro this. So Anna tweeted out, and this is sort of, this is, as far as I understand, this is unprompted. I'm not sure where this came from, but I'm a woman. People don't, please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or a person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. So I'm not sure where this, I don't know.
Where did this come from?
I have no idea. It's worth, so before we get into criticizing it, because again, I don't agree with it. People that are friends with her, I will say Emma Vigeland on Majority Report today, good friend of hers, had a really good criticism of this. So I think hopefully people that
we're gonna watch that.
I know her a little bit, but not, we're not texting. So hopefully people like Emma are in conversations with her. But I just want to point out that there's a lot of bad faith criticism online over this, like people just blankly saying that she's anti-trans now completely, that people bringing up stupid shit like the Armenian genocide because of the Young Turks, when they have both, first of all, Anna's Armenian, but like Cenk has acknowledged the Armenian genocide like 1,000 times. And anyways, really dumb bad faith criticisms. Also ignoring the fact that based on, so one of the things that went viral, or not viral, but trended after this was the Young Terfs as like one of the examples of how people are.
I see. I didn't know all of this, but I'm not on Twitter like that. Like I don't. It's too much stuff going on in my life for me to be on any social media like that. So I didn't know this until I started to prepare for this segment, that it was trending. It's not the Young Turks, TURKS, but the Young Terfs, TERFS. So yes, let's continue.
Calling them. If you search trans on TYT, it's purely in defense of trans people. Like, you're not going to find one video that is criticizing trans.
But it's in defense of trans people only when Republicans are doing something. You get what I'm saying? Like would they be in defense of trans people if the other people who is the opponent in the video isn't a Republican? You get what I'm saying? So let's make sure we flip that framing. It's not that they're doing trans advocacy. They're just debating the red team, and this is their position on this. So like I said, there's a lot of advocacy you could be doing for trans people that doesn't include content talking about Republicans.
Trans people. It's endless content defending, talking about what the right is doing. It's endless. So to try and paint.
This is the white person using the N-word, calling somebody a nigger. And then their friends come in and say, she has friends. She has black friends. That's what this is. So why is David even doing this? The same thing I said to Jordan Sheridan when he came to defense to Jan Perlman, or was it Jan? I don't want to say Jan Perlman if it wasn't her. So came to defense of some white person that I forget who we were debating. She's not a racist. Nobody was even talking to you, Jordan. Why are you coming in feeling like you need to be a defense to defend white people as other people being called racist? Why are you feeling like you need to go out and say, look at all the content she's making of trans people? This is like saying, but she has black friends though. I'm not racist. I have black friends. You don't think it wasn't racist people in the 1700s who didn't have black friends? Black people raised a lot of rich white people's kids. What are you talking about? So anyway, and I mean, can you be racist and Thomas Jefferson liked the black person enough to have sex with her to have a baby, but he was racist. So this doesn't prove anything. I'm not saying she is, is or isn't. I'm just simply saying doing this, but I have black friends. That's what this is, what he's doing. But let's continue so we can get through to the other content.
An entire network, and even as Anna, as a Terf, because of one tweet that I think is misguided, I think is ridiculous. That said, I don't know why this tweet went up. I don't know what the point of it.
When I called you a nigger, that's not who I am. Isn't that what that is? This doesn't define me. Okay. I'm giving parallels for those who may not, able to see it through the lens of the context of trans people in this conversation. So I'm trying to give you an analogy with black people. Let's continue.
Tweet is, I don't know. So a lot of people on the right were like, oh, look at this. Anna agrees with us. And, not to say, guilt by association isn't always a smart thing to do, but the issue is if they're all using your tweet, there's a reason why they're doing that, right? So I think it's important at that point to come out and clarify. Now, to be fair, if you go through the replies, she replied at least to Carrie Lake as one example, because Carrie Lake, terrible, person who ran in Arizona, pretend she won the election. She replied saying like a broken clock's right twice a day. Anna replied to her being like, "You're a piece of shit." So she's responding to some of these.
Oh, that's great.
People
oh, you're a piece of shit. That helps.
Being like, "Hey, I'm not on your side." But at this point,
clean up your room.
If I was in her position, I tweeted something that was misguided, stupid, I would come out and apologize. As far as I've seen, that hasn't happened. I don't.
So, David, I posted a link in our private chat. She actually just addressed this on the TYT main show briefly.
Let's see
it. I'm friends with Anna Kasparian, and I was kind of going back and forth with her publicly. I also reached out privately, and she kind of references this in that. And so if you want to play that, then I'll kind of explain to you like my take and the way that I approach this with her, because I agree that it's completely unfair to label her as anti-trans.
Wow. It's unfair to label her anti-trans, says Humanist Report, who literally calls out like he is at the forefront fighting or doing content for the trans community or an advocacy for the trans community. But this is okay, I guess.
Having said that, though, the tweet was really bad and it bothered me, and I privately
he because I can't remember where I saw it, but he's how I even know what was going on. I saw somebody post a screenshot of him replying to Anna because I'm blocked. That was the only way I was able to see it. That's how I even knew about this story when it happened.
Explain this to Anna Kasparian, but this is her addressing it, and then we can kind of go.
You're still really, really loud, by the way, Mike.
Am I really? Okay.
I didn't know that. So she addresses it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me adjust
Mike,
that again.
you're fine. Lance, you're super loud.
Yeah, you guys super loud.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'll turn myself down too. Okay, hold on.
Let me.
If you guys turn on automatic volume, it should like in the settings on StreamYard.
I'm gonna do that.
Work.
Offends her if raped. Offends her because she feels like birthing persons is offensive.
So let me.
By the way, we should explain as well before even that birthing person is not used on a regular basis. This is not a thing that people say.
And even Jenkins.
We're good. I got it.
All right, let's play this.
C. Zerkley wrote in, I love TYT, but I'm kind of tired of getting the vibe from Anna, and even Jenk at times, that my plight as a trans man who could get preggers if raped offends her, if raped, offends her because she feels like birthing persons is offensive.
So let me.
By the way, we should explain as well before even that birthing person is not used on a regular basis. This is not a thing that people say it's only ever used in medical terminology. As an example, quickly before I show Anna's video here, this is a good example of that. So this is how the media has covered this stuff. This is the Atlantic, not even, I mean, they're right wing, but they're not like, Fox News. The culture war over pregnant people, and they're basically criticizing this. So but it's based off of stuff like this. So the White House blueprint for addressing the maternal health crisis. So the right, jumped on this. Oh my God, they used the word pregnant people 3 times, used women 230 times. Like they only use pregnant people in relation to when it's necessary, when it's discussing certain issues around pregnancy, right? Like, so this is a complete non-issue. It's a complete non-issue, and no one's calling Anna or any other.
And I want to speak to this because this particular sort of tweet, this is the point that I was sort of alluding to. It's like, and several people have said this. It's like you're creating an issue that's not even there. But this 230 versus 3, but conservatives are making it a huge deal. You see how this is a non-issue that is just being manufactured to be an issue. Why wasn't trans people a problem when the RuPaul Drag Race premiered years ago? Did the ruling class have other issues they can use to separate workers? And some of those issues they don't have anymore to separate workers in the same way, so they just picked up on more current issues? Yes. This proves it. 230 times they mention women, but hey, they mentioned birthing persons, or how did they say? Pregnant people 3 times.
Anybody else a birthing person in an everyday conversation. That isn't happening.
The only time I've heard someone try to use it, it's usually in addition to. It's like, hey, by the way, can you please include birthing persons?
Exactly.
Not erase women. Like, obviously this affects half the population. They're trying to do
therein lies, and therein lies the fundamental problem and the true issue with what she said and that she said it. Because at the end of the day, she knows as well as we all know, as people who are all dealing with the news, that the trans community is under literally constant attack all around the country illegally. That is reality. She knows that. She knows that they are a political, right now, the Republicans are using the trans community as a political scapegoat for all of their bigotry and to come after tooth and nail, and there are real dangers to that. And as you pointed out, David, yes, they have covered many, many, many trans issues and stuff, so they know better. They are more aware than anybody what that community is facing. So to come out with what you know is a non-fucking issue, it's something that leans into right-wing talking points to give them at a time when a bunch of people are looking to legitimize their transphobia and legitimize this bigotry. So they are clamoring for people who they, especially people they like, people who they trust or whatever, to have these things that endorse. And you see that because all in the comments, you see people in our comments right now in this live chat, you're like, oh, what's wrong? And that's right. And she should be able, and blah. And that's the fucking problem. And that's how it starts. And that is the larger problem, because at the end of the day, no one is stopping you from being a woman.
A woman.
Not Nothing.
So I think they made their point, and I do want to move forward. The point of covering this is to illustrate sort of what the pseudo left not only dabbles in, but it's like a big part of the conversation. These culture war fights, even and it sounds like within the Democratic supporters, because you have all of them on the Leftist Mafia who are progressive and claim to be her friend. So it's infighting within the progressives about this. How come TYT, Anna Kasparia, and Cenk happen to be falling on the right? And I don't mean right as in correct. I mean right versus left. How come they keep falling on the conservative right side on a lot of these issues? That they're just claiming, oh, we're in middle ground. Are you? So let's go to the next sort of clip. They mentioned Anna. So Anna made a very, very short clip.
RIMs are broken. I don't know what's going on, but they froze basically at the start of the show, and then they aren't coming back. And I tried to refresh, then I lost all of them. But I did see an IM that I just wanted to respond to really quickly because I didn't want, like, they actually are broken. But I felt like people might be like, you're dodging this. I'm not. So I saw that my dear friend Anna Kasparian kind of went viral with a tweet, and some people wanted me to weigh in on it. And I just look, she, as I said, dear friend of mine, really good person. I don't think she's anti-trans. I don't think that's really even a question. She has a long track record in this space, and I think her track record should speak for itself. She's been in this.
Like I said, I put these things, I'm using an analogy to put it in other terms if you can't see the perspective. Imagine she was saying this about Anna, if Anna was caught saying something racist or doing something racist. Like, I mean, you will be saying this. I think her track record proves it. She's not a racist. Isn't that what they say? Just saying. Just saying.
Space for a long period of time and has done a ton of great work. However, like I really do disagree with the emphasis. Like, I think it's wrong to overinflate the usage of kind of awkward language like birthing person, both in frequency and in terms of the stakes involved when someone is referred to by that language, because it's awkward. I get it. It's stilted when being used in non-medical or technical terms, but I think that's like kind of the extent of the critique, right? It's awkward. It doesn't take away anyone's rights, and it's not when being used right now in that context, it's not taking away anyone's rights. And like, as a cis woman myself, I just think it's more important to put into context that, like, while you might not enjoy the technical language, that awkwardness is inevitable in this current climate and necessary, because we're trying to like fortify walls right now as trans erasure is widespread right now. Like, there's a barrage of deliberately trans exclusionary language, which is what some of the awkward, stilted terminology is meaning to beat back. And that trans exclusionary language is really just the tip of the iceberg for systemic erasure. So being diligent.
I think the more we go along with this segment, the more that Michael Brooks Vivek Chibber video just rings true to me, because these are literal non-issues. And and the pseudo left is just entangled in this, and I'm almost wanting to just cut this segment short, because just it's depressing listening to so much time being spent on culture war issues. What's happening to trans people is not a culture war issue. You fighting over trans language and trans bathrooms is a culture war issue. All right, let's try to get through this and get to the next segment. I thought there was possibly one. Yeah, Sam. So let's listen to Sam on the same topic, and so yeah, let's listen to Sam. Let me kind of real fast forward through all the fluff here.
And so,
Okay.
and I know you were gone yesterday, Sam.
Yeah, I think.
I think did you see I commented on this yesterday?
Yeah,
and that's the video we just watched.
And I know she's a friend of the show, and I know that her and Emma are personal friends, and so I don't think that you need to like completely lambast someone, but I don't know. I felt like, for instance, the clipping of that with the title that she's not anti-trans was not necessarily the right. To me, it just seemed kind of tone deaf. I guess the problem I had was that like that tweet in and of itself.
So he's pointing out Majority Report's own titling. So the video we just watched with Emma was titled "Anna Kasparian is not anti-trans." That was the title. And this caller is saying that's kind of being tone deaf, considering what just happened. It's kind of being tone deaf to the situation, which it is. But she addresses it. Let's see if she addresses it now.
It wasn't great, but I think the bigger context was the replies. It got very combative, and a lot of Nazis popping in, agreeing with her. Ben Shapiro's retweeting her. Carrie Lake popping in, saying, "Hey, a broken clock." And some of the replies from her, I'll be honest, were indistinguishable from something that J.K. Rowling would say.
But within the context of like her.
This is one of those no Minky Kuntz moments. Remember when she ran and there was already a progressive and that whole debacle, and they had to, their audience is calling them, "Hey, what's going on with this? What the fuck's going on?" And they had to deal with that. This feels very much, maybe not as directly only the Majority Report, but it's their friend trying to not. I guess you have to defend her. I mean, you're having to defend her with people because you're defending her by saying she's not anti-trans, but you're critiquing, the current issue. But this is funny.
Larger commentary on trans people. I don't think that's a fair critique to put her in the same boat as J.K. Rowling. And like, you can have, I think, quibbles with the way the video is titled. I didn't even
like you see how she points. The bigger point was that Anna is in there acting like J.K. Rowling is what she's saying, or what the caller is saying, and she's saying I don't think it's fair to put her in that category. She's not saying, "Oh, she didn't say those things in the tweet." And I think I want to end it here. I can't do another video of this. I thought I would be able to do a full breakdown, but just listening to it, I felt like Ole gave the basic breakdown that was needed critique of this tweet, and everything else is just what can you say? This is the pseudo left. This is the pseudo left. This is what is pressing to them. Not building community with trans people, but talking about the language and people misusing the language and giving talking points to people like Carrie Lake, the pseudo left, ladies and gentlemen, and humans and people.